Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in to This Is a Shoot. As you can see, got a little tan going on here, a little burn. It's going to turn to a nice tan. Summer has finally hit my home state of Ohio. Now, I just finished up watching what was a really good Monday Night Raw. We had a few returns. We had a legend there on set, and it was the 20-year anniversary of the one and only Randy Orton. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to talk about is, well, to me, it seems like Cody Rhodes is treated with a lot more star power, a lot more respect inside, and he just seems like he fits better in the WWE world of pro wrestling. And the reason I say that is for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, let's start where he came from in AEW. Now, we all know the Cody Rhodes story, and most of us know that he originally just came up through the WWE system. He left, and he went out on the road and proved himself. But inside AEW was really where I think he really began to prove himself and make himself into a big star, but he didn't seem like he wanted to push himself as the big star in which he is. And I say that because he took himself out of a to ever hold that world title in AEW in a match against Chris Jericho back when AEW first began. The stipulation was if he lost to Chris Jericho, then he would never ever challenge for that AEW World Championship again. And he never did. And I believe, and even Cody came out and said that him making that decision was a mistake. He should not have made that decision. That's when he was fully in charge, or mainly in charge of booking, especially booking himself in angles, yada yada. And so he even admits that this was a mistake. And when he made that announcement, I felt as though it was a mistake. He also, I think he tried so hard to help other talents to the point of he put himself in a mid-card ballot to where people was never going to see him more than a mid-carder because of the decision, like I said, that he made that he would never challenge for a world title again. So how could you put yourself into a main event caliber on the roster when you eliminate that possibility of ever holding a title? So he put himself in a mid-card position. AEW fan base also ended up turning on Cody Rhodes. Now, I witnessed this firsthand. Like I said, plenty of times I've been at AEW Bash of the Beach when it was back in Cleveland. And the crowd was very mixed. And you could hear it on AEW television. Now, a lot of times the crowds would boo Cody, but then they'd become more of a mixture. And I kind of compared him like this. I told my buddy, I said, Cody Rhodes is the John Cena of AEW. People love him, people hate him. He gets a reaction regardless. I also think when he was aligning himself with Arn Anderson, though he was paying respect to Arn Anderson, Cody doesn't need a manager. Cody doesn't need somebody in his corner constantly on the floor. Cody Rhodes is a star. And then at the end of his run in AEW, which did catch me by surprise because who would have thunk, or I never would have thought that Bash at the Beach, or Beach Break, was going to be his last televised and last match on AEW television. He just didn't seem happy anymore. You can just kind of tell that he just seemed, for whatever reason, he just seemed like he wasn't as happy as he was when it first began. It definitely seemed like there was tension backstage. And he kind of alluded to it a little bit there in the feud with Sammy Guevara. But that didn't stop him from doing his job and putting Sammy over in a big fashion at Beach Break. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the WWE side of things. One, WWE, they're pushing him as a major star. They came out with a poll saying that he was the number 2 babyface inside of the company. And he just got there, and that might have a big part of it. Another thing is, Cody is loved more so by the WWE universe than he is by the AEW universe, or was by the AEW fan base. for the WWE Universe diehards, the diehard fans that watch nothing but WWE, they see Cody as one, a hero because he stepped away from the evil company of AEW, and they see him two, as a victory for the WWE, because it's almost kind of like, hey, we took one of your biggest stars and we're using him right. We're using him in a proper way. We're making him into something that you guys should have stepped up and did, even though he made that decision to take himself out of that position. And Cody, to me, and now this is strictly opinion, you either agree or you don't agree, Cody always seemed to carry himself as if he was bigger than he was, and he just seemed like he was more polished than a lot of the AEW wrestlers, and that is not a knock against the AEW wrestlers, because AEW kind of feels like that more grittier wrestling organization, that grittier company. You know, it's not all about the fancy lights and the fancy fireworks and the fancy this and the fancy production. It is more like an Attitude Era-esque, WCW Monday Night War-esque type of atmosphere. Where WWE is very polished, it's very, boom, here we are. They, some of you are going to pick up what this saying means, but WWE peacocks itself around. Any Office fans out there, they just kind of walk around smug like, yeah, we are the best. And Cody always seemed like he just had that posture, that moxie, that cockiness, that smugness to him, but it's in a good way. He's very confident. See, Cody's not cocky. He carries himself in a very confident, elegant manner. Okay? He carries himself as if he's not better than you, but he knows his worth and he knows his value. And it portrays on the TV set, let me tell you. Whether he was in AEW and now inside WWE, I could just tell. And sure, maybe people's going to say, oh, you're just a Cody Mark, you're just a Cody this, you're just a Cody lover. I was on the fence with Cody in AEW for a long time. There towards the end, I just decided, you know what? I'm going to cheer this man because I appreciate what he's doing by going through burning tables and etc. and yada yada. But I think and one of the things is you can tell Cody is having fun inside WWE right now. It's kind of like that. He's in the honeymoon stage. Okay. It's the honeymoon phase right now with Cody Rhodes also. But here's the biggest factor in all of this. Cody Rhodes proved himself to Vince McMahon, and he worked himself out a deal to the fact that Vince McMahon went and flew his jet down to see Cody, did not fly Cody to come see him. That right there, wrestling fans, that speaks volumes to anybody in the business world. Cody had all the power. Cody, I don't know what his deal portrays. I don't know what it includes. I don't know how much creative control he has. I don't know any of that stuff at all. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how long it's going to last. But I'm going to enjoy every second of it while it's here. So, Cody Rhodes, in this video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, and you're still with me, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below. But Cody Rhodes, to me, he's getting a respect from WWE, a respect in which he deserves. And it's a respect in which he earned. And to me, Cody Rhodes is a bigger star and being portrayed as a bigger star in WWE than he ever would have been inside the AEW world. That all being said, thank you guys for tuning in, and stay tuned for more videos.